Time for another Brennan Willard podcast from the studios of LEB TV. Willard's Wisdom's brought to you by Lakeside Auto Repair at Osage Beach. Call 573-302-1810, and also by Schaefer Oil. Well, tune was going through my head this morning on the way over here to do the show. Old Merle Haggard tune. Okie from Muskogee.
Muskogee.
You were there and ran pretty well.
Yeah, we got down there Friday, and it was a shocker. We had a rain out Friday. I don't know how many rainouts we've had this year, but we've been pretty lucky, honestly, all things considered. But got there Friday, started to unload, and loaded the pick cart and crash cart right back up. I saw the rain coming. But truthfully, we got really lucky. Like 30 minutes north of the racetrack, we wouldn't have raced on Saturday. So it rained off and on all night Friday night, and they had no chance of racing. And then Saturday was a pretty good show, or pretty good race for us, and really cool event. Hayden Ross, I raced against him the first year I raced. I guess the first year and a half that I raced dirt, and it may have been longer. I can't remember if he passed. I think it was 2022 when we lost him, but he was a really good race car driver and up-and-coming kid, and just tragically killed in a four-wheeler accident. And it's awesome that they have that race for him. And what was cool about Muskogee, I'd never been there to Thunderbird. I've been to Outlaw, which is 15, 20 minutes south of the city. So there's a big racetrack there. And then Muskogee is a big flat, or Thunderbird is a big flat half-mile fairground track, very historic. I'm pretty sure my dad's raced there. Obviously, Larry Phillips. Like, just everybody growing up, that was a big racetrack that they'd go to once a year. And so it's cool to go there, and they've revived it. And this event, they announced as the biggest crowd they've had in, I think, over 25 years.
Wow. The
grandstands were full. I mean, completely full grandstands. What was really cool is when they take the top 4 to Tech after the heat and the top 5 after the feature, but when you go to Tech, you have to go out and around the racetrack, and the scales, they put the scales on the front straightaway, and then you have to drive across the stage on the front straightaway. So all the kids come down to the stage and high-five you after you go through Tech, and you go down backwards down the front straightaway, driver's side, facing the crowd. Very good idea. So the crowd gets to interact. You have lots of interaction with kids. They said that a lot of the kids had never been to the races before, so we signed autographs forever. They had an autograph session at intermission, and there was tons of kids down there having their first race. It was just really, really a cool event, and a fun night. And we had a pretty good car all night, and then ended up in the top 5. I think we were third with 3 to go, and just my car would work pretty good on the bottom, and I just burnt my right rear tire off of it. And when my tires would get hot, I could go for 3 laps really, really good. And then when my tires get hot, I needed to migrate to the top, but it was one of the deals I was committed, and I was like, I got here, I think we started 13th, and we got there from staying where we were at on the bottom, and I was just committed to it. If I had to do over, we'd have moved up once we got to 3rd or 2nd, and just it didn't work out. But if I wasn't going to win, to see Eli Ross win his brother's memorial race was cool. I can't imagine the pressure on that kid. You could see it, and you could just see, honestly, relief. It's only the 3rd year they've had it, but he's 16 years old and really running well right now and trying to make his way in the dirt late model world. And so to have a memorial race for your brother, who he looked up to his whole life, and right there, and to win it that young, and that kind of probably made his year, honestly. No matter what happens to him the rest of the year, he's going to do that. And I would think he's going to win the Comp Cam's Rookie of the Year. He's pretty much locked in on that now. So, he's got a chance of winning some other regional races as well. So, but for sure, obviously the biggest win of his career, and pretty cool deal for him.
So as far as the track goes, it was good for you on both the bottom and the top?
We struggled on the top a little bit, just made some wrong chassis adjustments. It was, the Sooner Series. It was a Sooner Series event. Never ran that series. You do not time in. It was just straight up on a draw. We're so damn good at drawing that we drew a 39 out of 100 and started last row of our heat, and top 4 made it. And we managed to draw the loaded heat like normal, and but we made it. And just needed to make a couple different adjustments on the race car for the feature. Looking back, hindsight's 20/20. Everybody can make their stuff better the day after, right? But know what, if we go back there ever, then we know what we need to do. So, but for our first time ever seeing the place, and the guys that are up front had ran there a lot. So, first time being there, was pretty happy with the top 5, and nothing tore up. And we had thought about going to Benton tonight, but didn't work out. So we'll take 90% sure we're taking the weekend off. I've seen me change it. There's a race at Nevada that if we went anywhere, we'd go there on Saturday, but more than likely we'll take the weekend off and get ready to go for next week.
So the Friday program washed out. Did they condense that into Saturday, or was Saturday pretty much a standalone?
Everything was too separate. It sucked. It got rained out because it was 2 6,000 to win shows each night and completely separate shows. So it'd have been really nice to go down there and get the really good payout they had, and so it would have been nice to get that 2 nights. But Mother Nature had other plans, so just a 1-night deal, which there was no reason for them to raise a purse, and a lot of people were wanting that. You got to look at the big picture for everything. They didn't get the income from Friday night. A lot of the money, any of the money that's made off that race goes to the Hayden Ross Memorial Foundation, which helps kids that don't have the chance to race or want to get into racing. It provides sponsorship for kids to get into racing, which I think is a awesome program. So it was really cool to see that event and be a part of it, and something we'll probably look at going to in the future for sure. 29
late models in the field for that, and a few of the fellow competitors that you see on a pretty consistent basis. They were there.
Yeah, everybody, I think everybody looked at that and like, hey, this guy might not be there. That guy might, we can go down here and maybe see if we can sneak us off of, catch everybody sleeping down here for a good payout. And there's none of that anymore. Moyer, Tony, Bagley, of course, Eli Ross was going to be there. It's just a lot of really good race cars. John Mitchell was there. Just, the 11 car. There's just several good race cars at that race. And it was funny because I was like, there's about 10 cars here that could go win tonight, and you knew it. And any of the 10 start up front, especially that, what's unique about a big flat half miles clean air. And, you watch NASCAR race this weekend, and you watch, or any weekend, you hear the term clean air and what air does, and the aero effect of not having clean air on a big wide half mile now is, it's huge. So, having clean air, being able to, that's the other thing is like it may be 3 or 4 tenths slower to be on the top or bottom, but if you're not in dirty air, it's worth half a second to be not in dirty air. So it's just, not being in dirty air is worth a lot, and getting the clean air down to the nose of your race car to where your race car will work properly is a big deal. 25 lap A main, so it had to be hammered down, didn't it? It was, and it was very humid, so the moisture stayed in the racetrack, and it slicked off a lot more than I thought it would. But overall, good race, and the crowd got to see a great race, and I saw just a little bit of the TV highlights, and it was a pretty good show to watch, and really cool, though, to see Eli get that win at home for your brothers. You can't beat that story and what happened there. Did the hauler make it to the destination and back home? No issues, and that was cool. So, what a long week, but we got everything fixed on that, knock on wood, and, everybody has hauler problems once in a while. That's just something that goes along with it. Tony had hauler issues on his way. He called me. We normally travel together, and I'm like, I'm going to get on the road, drag my feet. Well, then I get a text message 10 minutes later, hey, we may not be coming. We've got a turbo issue or something, and they got theirs fixed, and it's just life on the road racing. It's an adventure. I talked to Fager before the Springfield Summer Nationals, and they literally spent the entire off day maintenance in the trailer and working on their hauler. It's just a lot a lot that goes into that behind the scenes people don't realize.
Speaking of Springfield, our former guest on the show, Trent Wynn, won the feature
Big
on
win.
Saturday.
Yeah, big win for Trent, and happy for him. And, that's if you're going to win one, that may be the biggest race of the year. There's so many people come to that for the fireworks there. And
they had 140 cars in the field.
I was laughing about that because a lot of the pit park, they have to take away half the pit parking for the crowd. And, so like it would have been tight, 140 cars in there, but Jerry does a good job of getting everybody in, getting everybody through. And he had 2 rain delays and still done by midnight with a really long firework display in the middle. The fireworks were like at 9:30, and then the feature was right after. So hats off to Hoffman on that. 2 different rain delays on a dirt track's a miserable night for anybody. And but the packed grandstands I saw there, and huge win for Trent. So big shout out to him, and maybe we can pass a little luck on our way for that.
Tip of the hat also to Lebanon's Reggie Jackson as he won the B feature in the late models.
Yeah, they had a power steering line or something go bad in the heat race, I think. So put them in the B, but they got that car fixed, and pretty cool for them to come out there and have the night they did. So good night at Springfield for a lot of local guys for sure.
Boy, what a sprint car race they had at Lucas Oil Speedway also.
Great weekend there. 3 really good races. The Thursday night show was a barn burner, and
Kyle Larson was there. He finished 5th.
Yeah, awesome to see that, him coming, and you got 2 national tours on the sprint car side, which it had room for that with World of Outlaws and now High Limit, and it's pretty awesome. I always tell everybody Wheatland's a much better sprint car track than his late model track, just the way it is, and it really showed out there and put on an awesome race for the weekend for everybody there.
Yep. Aaron Retzel of Clue, Texas won Thursday night. And Rico Abreu, he won Friday. He's everybody's favorite
Everybody
driver.
loves Rico, so you can't beat that. And I saw Sunshine won Saturday night. They've struggled and needed that win, so big win for them. And I think this has been just a really tough year for Tyler Courtney. So for them to get a win Saturday, it could turn their season around. So good weekend there as well.
Thursday Night Thunder at Lucas Oil Speedway this week.
It'll be a cool event. And then fireworks at Midway on Friday. I think weekly race at Saturday at Jerry's World. And then, but next week, a lot of big stuff coming up too. Lucas Oil late models go to 34 a week from Thursday. And then back to the Diamond, first time ever 2-day show, Friday and Saturday night at Lucas Oil Speedway for Lucas Oil late models. So we're obviously gearing up for that. Going to be a big weekend for us. And I want to have a good weekend to set to me, it's the start of the second half of the season is there. And so you can kind of get us some momentum going and be ready for our push here with the Mars Series.
Overall, where do you think your program's at right now heading into July?
We're obviously not where we want to be, but I think we're making gains every time we go on the racetrack. Just to think that you're going to compete at a regional and national level with the experience that I have even now is tough. So, we're gaining experience, we're gaining knowledge, and just every night making the right adjustments and figuring out what you need to do with your race car on that given situation and having a good notebook. And Randall Chupp's come on board this year to help us in consulting and every night. And, we've got a notebook built up now, and that's a lot of the tracks we're going to go to at Mars in the second half of the season. We're going to get to go to for the second time. The first weekend out the bat, I've never seen Farmer City, so there's another, just like last weekend, another racetrack you've never been to. I've only raced I-55 one time, and it was actually my first ever race with a super late model engine in the car. So I'm excited to get back there. It's crazy. I've only raced there once, and not since literally I felt like I remember going into that race, and that was the COVID race first race out of COVID for everybody, and it just a really tough field of cars and a tough night. But I learned a lot that night. But I'm excited to go back to Peevely and get to some racetracks that we've, like I said, been to before now, and ready to build up on what we got and try to get some momentum going for the second half of the season.
I-44 Speedway, salute to 75 on Saturday night, and Dylan Bates takes the checkered flag in the late model main.
Back-to-back for him on that event. And how about the packed? I saw a lot of pictures and video, and the amount of people in tier parking and the line to get into tier parking at 3 o'clock was awesome. And that's what
brought back memories.
Yes, it did. And, Aaron's doing a great job out there, and a lot of people are doing a lot of big things. And it's just really cool to see everything that's going on at I-44 Speedway and how much they're building the place back up. And Crown Vics had a good turnout. They're getting some momentum going with the limited late models. And I think you're going to, everything goes in phases. And right now, dirt racing is at its peak, and it's what's going on, and it's awesome, and it's great. Pavement racing is starting to build, and Aaron has been good about not trying to worry about what anybody else is doing. Don't worry about what dirt track's doing what. Don't worry about what other pavement track's doing what. Get you a good set of rules for your local people, and what works for you. Don't worry about what works for everybody else. And they've done good there. And the crowd, to see a crowd that big Saturday night, that's the way it should be every night, honestly. And a lot of people, everybody's talking about how good a time they had. And so it's awesome to see that. And they got Military Appreciation Night coming up on the 12th, so it'll be good for them too.
Absolutely. Jaden Smith of Lebanon won the Charger feature. Jed Sindler of St. Charles was the winner in the Bandoleros. Josh Hazel of Waynesville first in the Crown Vics. And Lebanon's veteran driver Chris Johnson won the Street Stock feature on Saturday night.
Awesome. Awesome to see some different names in the results there and winning too. And the Crown Vics, just that class is so awesome to watch. And I watched the highlights of that 3 and 4 wide. That's bringing back memories too, the old Bomber days. So awesome to see that, really is.
NASCAR on the street course through the streets of Chicago coming up this weekend. So that's going to be different, isn't it?
Yeah. Not a fan of that, but whatever works. You watched Saturday night's race?
Yeah. Chase Elliott brings back I-44 memories as he gets the win on his home course. So that was good to see. I'll tell you, that second stage, that had my palms sweating watching that thing.
I watched the highlights of the race, did not see it, just highlights only. I was very entertained and think it was a great race. What's your opinion?
Good race, and fans like to see wrecks, so that had that too,
it
for
had
sure.
That too.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the package they have at Atlanta, with that being a one-off. It reminds me of how Daytona and Talladega used to be with, this new car. The package that they have at the super speedways just isn't working. But that was a really good race. The highlights I saw and the finish of that race was outstanding. So I love hearing other people's perspective, because I think I listened to Mark Martin and Kenny Wallace's conversation last week, and I think that was really good to listen to, because you can't just look at racing. If you look at racing and you just have your blinders on and you're really narrow, what I like and what I enjoy is not going to be the same. We're the old people, right? And you have to have new blood brought in, like the drift cars at I-44. I think drifting is the stupidest thing in the world. I do. But my kids think it's cool, and younger generation like it. So it doesn't matter what I think, it's bigger than me and bigger than us old grouchy people. You know what I mean? Dirt racing's exciting because you're sideways and there's rooster tails throwing off the car. Well, now you got a guy going around in a Nissan Altima or whatever the heck they're racing around there with neon lights and smoke coming off. Pretty cool to watch, for 30 seconds for me. But I understand you have to bring everything into it. So NASCAR doing what they're doing, whether the old pure race fans like it or not, it's not just about you. It's about everybody else too. And how do you bring that in? Just like the pitch clock in baseball. I think the pitch clock in baseball, the greatest thing they ever did. I know people, I remember when that come out, people were pissed. So everything's got to even flow and evolve. And if you're not willing to make a change, then you're going to be like a dinosaur and die.
Absolutely. All right. What's the plan for this week?
Off, I think. I'm going to hold myself to that, right? But if we go anywhere, it'd be Nevada on Saturday night. I doubt we go anywhere, but mainly just getting ready for we have back-to-back 3-day swings. So with 34 in Wheatland the week after next, and then Farmer City, Peavey, Quincy after that. So 6 races in 2 weeks coming up. So kind of get ready for that little swing for sure.
Summertime madness coming up. Thanks. Appreciate it.
No problem. We'll see you next week.
All right. Brennan Willard joining us today. I'm Kevin Stubblefield. Our show brought to you by Lakeside Auto Repair at Osage Beach and by Schaefer's Oil. Thanks for joining us again today from the studios of LEB TV.